Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to a little special show we call the Sunday Rise. And as I see the look in your eyes, you're looking around, you don't see KG, you don't see Gentleman Jack, you don't see the boss man. Yes, indeed, we have a solo show. So if you're in the comments, tap in with me. Let's get live. Let's do this thing up like we don't do it like we always do. Let's turn it up to 11. All right. Let's have some fun. Let's get some information out there. Let's talk about the world of sports this week. This is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. The show you're watching is the Sunday Rise. I am the Midnight Rider. The other guys are out for assignment today. Hope you enjoy what I got on tap for you. And like I said, tap in with me, jump in with me, hop on the bus, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to start off with a little talk about the events from yesterday, last night, the WNBA All-Star Game. I think the ladies are doing something that the guys don't do, and we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. After that, we have the Open. We have a leaderboard. We're going to go through the leaderboard a little bit, see if anybody has a chance in today's offering to make a comeback, get back in it, and do something big. After that, we have training camp on the horizon. Now, I've got some stories from a couple places, probably about 10 teams that just something that intrigued me, caught my eye. It might be 11 because I kind of lost count. But I'm going to get through that, get you through some of the other stuff, and hopefully we can have a good show. We can have a good time. I can entertain you. Hopefully I can provide you some information that you didn't have before. With that being said, this is the Sunday Rise. I'm the Midnight Rider. Let's go. First topic. Boom. NBA All-Star Weekend. The ladies showed out, it should say. But the ladies came in. I think they had a plan this weekend. And that plan was very obvious. And one of the big things that they were trying to get accomplished this weekend, from my standpoint, was the year ends with a CBA in question. And I think they had talks the whole weekend about the CBA, trying to get some things nailed down. And there's one thing in this whole process that I've been proud of the ladies in is, and they're not like the men in this, and that's because they're united. They've been united in the whole process. I'm not saying that they're asking for all the same things, but at least they present a united front. And I think if you watch the NFL, and, you know, we've had Lemon Pepper Lloyd. If you don't know about Lemon Pepper Lloyd, I'll jump in that in another segment. But the ladies came in, they showed out, they had talks over the weekend. They left frustrated. And I know if you're a Washington Commanders fan, you've heard the word frustrated a lot over the last couple of days. But these ladies are frustrated because they're not being shown the respect. They're not getting some of the things. So what I'm going to do in a couple of seconds, I'm going to lay out some of the arguments. Not so much from the ladies' side of what they're talking about, but just some what I'm seeing in the social media world. And I'm going to talk about that, go through that. And then at the end of this, I'm going to try to hit you with the plan or the reason why the ladies are asking what they're asking for. And once you understand that, maybe, you know, that might change your viewpoint in a certain aspect. With that being said, let's see who leads us off today in the comments. And it's Scott Rivette. Scotty up 6 with 10 to go. Thanks, Scooters. Just jump in and throw that update in there the whole time, man. I appreciate it. Anytime you want to throw a little-known Hartford fact out there, I can do some of the drive time bit right here. But with that being said, let me get back to it. Let's talk about the game before I go anywhere else, before we get too heavy into the talks about the negotiations, what they have going on. The ladies played to a 151-135, if that math is mathing. And in that ball game, Napheesa Collier, the league leading scorer, showed out with 36 points, also was the MVP. We had we had a nice display from the ladies, just in terms of unity, in terms of just actually it's 151, 131. I apologize for that. So it was Team Collier versus Team Clark. Of course, we all know that Caitlin Clark could not play because of a groin injury, and that kept her out of the festivities from the weekend. The ladies came out and played. I got a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. The first part of the first couple minutes, it felt a little like the men's, and they were going through the motions, but it looked like they settled in a little bit better as the game went along. Just some scoring numbers from it. Napheesa Collier, 38 points. I think this is Alicia Gray. She had 18. Agumake was 16. Kelsey Plum was 16. And McBride with 15. That's the people that led Team Collier. Team Clark, Mitchell with 20. Kiki from your Washington Wizards was 17. Sykes was 16. Williams with 16. And Thornton with 15. One of the little gadgets that they played with in this ball game was the 4-point play. And that's where Miss Collier took care of business. She was killing the 4-point bucket. That's why she got up to 36. Only 4 for 5 from 3-point land, 13 of 16 from the field. The next best efficiency wise, Mitchell was 8 of 13, 3 of 7 from 3 with 20 points. We had a triple-double, if I believe. Skylar Diggins had a triple-double, 11 points, 11 rebounds, and 15 assists. So from a style or stylistic standpoint, the ladies came out. They shot the ball from deep. They shot a lot of threes, which isn't anything different from what we've seen in basketball today. So with that being said, let's kind of get into the issues real quick while we got time before our first break. So, as we all know, the ladies come out. They come out with the Pay Us What You Owe t-shirts. And the t-shirts, again, it's another one of their moments where they have this sign of solidarity. And when I saw the post of the t-shirts, the comments were kind of the same. It's the comments are all basically, hey, how can you ask for more money when you're losing money as a league? Let's see. So a guy named Caleb on this random post on the WNBA page says, not until you pay Brittany Hicks. Another person says, you actually owe the NBA money. Another comment, laughing my ass off. Imagine asking for a salary decrease. Another person says, lower the rims to 9 feet. Another guy says, here's your bill. I've been alive for 28 years and I've never had the urge to put on a WNBA game. Would have been hilarious if the league came out and canceled the game on the spot. Another person says, pay Clark what you owe her. Those shirts are going to be calling for paying the league instead of paying you. If the negotiating against yourself was a t-shirt, and Clark's the only one that needed that t-shirt. So what I've kind of seen the whole sentiment this whole time in this process is this league isn't making money. These ladies should be on or paying a debt to Caitlin Clark for even having a league at this point right now. Seeing the increase in revenue, seeing the increase in everything. Let's see what Maddie says, because he always has a good perspective. The ladies deserve more money. League can't be hurting if you're expanding by 3 teams. That's a great point. And one of the points I was going to bring up, if the league is starting to move on and start making other ventures, the money can't be that bad. They just went to, I think everybody now has the flights that are chartered. So what are we doing here? Like, what is the situation? What is it going? Because yes, everybody can't be losing money when you're selling out at least 11 times a year. You're selling out big arenas for people to come see Caitlin Clark. And she's one of the biggest influences of this. Now, the other part of this I want to kind of tap into is the TV rights part. And this is where I think people that are looking at this don't see the bigger picture. So what's happened is the WNBA has signed an 11-year deal valued at $2.2 billion, which is about $200 million a year for those 11 years. And that comes through Disney, Amazon, and NBCU. All right. So now the league is actually getting $200 million pumped into the league that it wasn't getting before. The next one is their deal with Ion and CBS is $60 million more money added to the coffers. So let's say the CBS deal is, just for raw math, let's say it's 6 years. So that's another 10. So you're getting $210 million already on top, which is more than what you was getting before. And that's key in this conversation, because when you factor everything out, now you're getting 6 times more money than you did on the current deal. So I can see why the ladies are coming to them with their hands out. The problem is you're betting money for now against future prospects, against the future earnings of the company. So that's where there may be a little situation or a little problem for people understanding what's going on. Boom. Scott says the NBA has been playing for the WNBA for nearly 30 years. Last year, the WNBA lost $40 million. It's not on the players, but it's hard to ask for money when the product loses money, loses millions upon millions annually. And that's a great point, Scott. The only difference is now, just with the stuff that I read earlier, they're going to be making money soon. There's no way they should be losing 40 million if you're bringing in anywhere from 210 to 220 just off of TV contracts, because now that should cover your coffers, and now you should be making money off of your future endeavors. And I think the good thing that they got out of this deal was, going back to this comment made by Maddie, is the league expanded. And one of the first teams in the expansion was the Golden State Valkyrie. And the Valkyrie has had one of the top attendances in the league this year. So if you're adding them into the pot, I think what the ladies are thinking is, with this money coming in that we're pumping in, the money that we're making off of the future money that's coming in starting next year, we should be able to get a bigger piece of the pie. And I think where everybody's jumping is they're thinking that they want NBA-esque salaries. I don't think the ladies are going that far. At least I hope they aren't, because then in that case, they are basically setting their league up for failure, setting themselves up for failure, and making it so that this league will not exist beyond the next couple of years because of their greed. What they should be asking for is something close to what the men do when it comes to a share of the revenue. And if they get a share of the revenue coming in, this isn't after operating costs, this is the share of the revenues coming in, they should be able to build contracts based off of that revenue coming in. So say this 220 is the revenue that's only coming in the league, and they want 48% of that or 52% of that, then they should be looking at 110 million to be placed amongst the players in the league, or 130 million placed amongst the players in the league. And I think that's where the conversation actually begins with the ladies. They're not asking, I hope they're not asking for equal pay in terms of the NBA. What I hope they're asking for is for some of that money that's coming in and being prepared to come in, let's give us a portion of that and let us take that money, put that towards our salaries, because they should get a bump based on the number of players in the league and the numbers that we're talking about if they get the revenue sharing piece. So that's the question. And it's not the revenue. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say revenue sharing. I should say total revenue coming in. If they get a portion of the revenue coming in, then that's a different question, a different conversation than us talking about revenue, the revenues, period. All right. And with that said, I'm going to go to a quick break, carry this on the other side, and then get into the British Open. So with that being said, let's hit a little break. We'll be back. Let's see. Boom. right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're back. So what we're going to do is just finish out this WNBA conversation. Get into the leaderboard at the British Open. I know Scott's been giving me some live updates. Scooter, if you're still around, I'll definitely take those live updates from you as you get them. I'm gonna go off of the board that I have posted or I see on ESPN. But let's try to put some finishing touches on the ladies' talk with the WNBA, and let's see what this comment is first before I get going. Scooter up 4 now with 9 left. Okay, so we got some things going on there. But when I finished the conversation, I was talking about the ladies needing a share of the revenue coming in because of the new TV rights deal. So the last part I want to kind of touch on with that is just real simple. I think they feel, and this is me looking on the outside, looking in, that they're very underpaid at this point. And we can argue that to a certain degree. The problem is, like we've said, and I think everybody in the comments on a lot of the topics have said, your league is losing money. So you can't ask but for so much because you're going to make it worse for yourself. And the funny thing I thought last night when I posted the pay us on my personal account, the first 4 comments, actually, I think I posted in the Sideline Junkies. I think the first 4 comments were to the extent of the ladies doing themselves a disservice by asking for more money or too much money because the league may not prosper. I think the other comments were, again, going back to harping on the NBA is basically paying for a lot of stuff for them and covered some of their losses for the last couple of years. And then the kind of the third or fourth points have been made as just, are you going to set yourself up for failure? Like with the ladies doing this and asking for this money up front and on the front end, will that set you up for future failures? A lot of leagues don't expand like they're trying to expand. They're being very aggressive in their expansion, doing 3 teams in the next 3 years. The good thing is they spaced it out. I was glad they didn't just go, all right, here's 3 teams. Let's make it work. They're doing it each year. They're bringing a new team in, making it work, letting it grow. The other good thing is they give these teams a chance to be successful. If the Golden State Valkyrie only could pick up the crumbs from the other teams in the leagues, they would be set up for failure. You wouldn't have you'd have a fan base that come out and see a team that's failing, that's losing, that's struggling. So by this team being competitive early on, it gives them every opportunity to succeed and the opportunity to make things right. I think this league has done one thing in this situation. They've secured the bag in terms of the TV deals. I think these TV deals coming down the pipeline are setting them up for success. I think the fact that they're going to be on CBS helps them with some success because that's a bigger market in terms of being in more homes, being in front of everybody's eyes, being at the forefront, not having to share the spotlight with other sports, not having games carry over into your game. I think the Amazon deal helps. I mean, Amazon is everybody has Amazon. You know what I'm saying? You may get some people that are on the outskirts of fandom, and yeah, they may come in for Caitlin Clark, but maybe they stay for everything else. And that's really what you want out of this situation. You want somebody to come in, invest their time, their energy, they buy some jerseys, they buy some merch, because that's other money that's going in their pockets. That's what's helping them right now. I like the Caitlin Clark, the fact that she's the face right now to me of the league. She has to be. I know somebody's gonna come in and talk about A'ja Wilson, but in terms of the financial boom falls on the back of Caitlin Clark for this league, and it's almost like a what is her name? I'll come back to. I'm not getting in my train of thought, but Swiftie. That's what I was gonna say. Taylor Swift effect. You know, you have people that jump in and they've watched the NFL product, not because they're a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, but because Taylor Swift is there at the games and they just want to see Taylor Swift. They don't care about the game at all. But if that person becomes a fan of the game, learns something, then maybe that happens. That helps. I think the WNBA's got to start embracing the gambling aspect. I think they have to start shooting on their platforms and shooting in their arenas. FanDuel, what is Bet365, ESPN 365. I think they need all these products to help move the game forward, because that's the money that you start getting. You're going to get some stuff from these companies, and if they can start sponsoring this, sponsoring that, that grows your brand even more, and that gives these ladies another stream to the revenue that they are solely desiring. And it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to be some bumps, but I think if they can maintain the Clark effect, put on good basketball games, and keep people entertained, then it will work. I watched my favorite movie last weekend, and there's a line that Primo is talking, and he said he's talking to Maximus, and this kind of goes to what I'm talking about with the ladies. And he's trying to get Maximus to be more entertaining. And he says, if you thrust this into another man's flesh, they would applaud and love you. You may begin to love them for that. And I think what the WNBA has to do in terms of that is, you can give us the chippiness, but don't go overboard. Give us the competition, get the competitiveness, maybe build some of them natural rivalries. Let's not do it to a level where it's all you're doing. And let the fans fall in love with you. Let the fans start falling in love with the faces of this league. The Napheesa Colliers, let her become a darling. Put her on more stuff. Put Asia on stuff. You've got the Me Bounds, shoe, and that whole line. Let all that become the things. You know what I'm saying? I think they should also have some marketing lines in some of the lady stores or the shops that ladies predominantly shop in. Get you a Caitlin Clark line. Get you a Caitlin Clark line of shoes. You got an A'ja Wilson line of shoes. Let's start building on some of the things that I feel are layups. And if you build on the layups, sooner or later you're going to get a slam dunk, because it's going to hit and it's going to connect. All you're trying to do right now is connect with the crowd. And another line that I'm going to steal from Gladiator: in order to win Rome, you must first win the mob. And that says so much, because if you listen or you watch this world that we live in, there's so many talking heads and angry talking heads. Those are the people that get hurt. Those are the people that draw emotions from people. So with that being said, the WNBA, you have to win the mob to win Rome. And if you do that, I think you will get more on the financial end. And these things that you're asking for, to pay us, to show us the money, all these things will come to fruition. And at the end of the day, you will be in a better spot to earn more money, to set yourself up, to have a league that's going to be able to take care of itself and stand on its own. And with that being said, I'm going to end the WNBA talk there. And we're going to go ahead and transition over. Scooter's been giving us some talks on the open, giving us some numbers. I think he said Scheffler's up 4 with 6 to go or something like that. Looks like right now I'm just giving you the scores off the board. I'm not telling you what hold they're on, because I don't have that information. So the leaderboard, 1 is Scottie Scheffler minus 16. Actually, he's through 9, so I can give you that. The next is Goddard up. He's minus 11. He's through 10 holes. Lee, who's been on the board all week, he's at minus 11. He's on number 9. English is minus 10, and he's through 10 holes. Fitzpatrick, he's another person that's been on this leaderboard the whole time. He's minus 10 through 10 holes. We got Bryson DeChambeau, minus 9. He's finished for the day, so only thing he's playing for, or he's hoping, is a couple people fall behind him and he can get into some of the bigger money. Connors is minus 9. He's through 17. Clark is minus 9 through 13. Xander Schauffele is minus 9 through 11. Shocking name on here is Ricky Fowler. He's -8, and he's finished for the day. And then Hedgeguard is -8 through 12. Rory McIlroy is -8 through 10. Matsuyama, and these are names that we talked about during the week. So if I'm bouncing around, I'm just bouncing around to some of the names that the guys have talked about all week long. And you'll get a wrap up on that on Tuesday with the correspondent. Another name, Justin Johnson, he's finalized -6. Arberg, -5 through 15. Ooh, actually, Sergio Garcia seen exciting. He's -3 and he's finished. But I think the way this course is played out, the one lucky thing that we got from this Open is the weather hasn't played a factor. We haven't gotten that windstorm. We haven't gotten that sideways rain. It's been actually a beautiful Open, and I think that's why we got the scores the way we did this weekend. Let me hit these comments, see what we got here. Goddard won the Scottish Open last weekend. That's right, he did. Let's see. Rory just double bogey. That's trouble. I think he made his run yesterday, and the fact that Scotty got back out, I think he was -14 coming into the day today. That was a challenge for Rory. He would have had to have 2. All right, if I just lost you, I apologize. Just had a little bump in my signal. Let's see. Bryson had the greatest 3 rounds in Open history. Hey, Scooter, number for those 3 rounds, that'd be perfect. And then also Scott says Lee trying to be the first Chinese golfer to win a major. He's been valiant the whole week. He's been on the top of the leaderboard probably since Thursday. If not Thursday, I know he was there Friday, and I don't remember seeing him fall off at all. But back to this tournament, I mean, these numbers are higher than what we normally get for the Open. The Open normally is a little bit lower, but that's mostly because the rain has come in. The winds have been high. The course, some of these bunkers have been treacherous, but it looks like this weekend, because of the beautiful weather, because of the open skies, we didn't get a typical British Open or the Open, because it's been called the Open since 2016. So if you still call it the British, you're about 9 years behind when they made the name change. So you got to get hip to that. With that being said, because I know we're going to have an expansive talk on Tuesday with the correspondent, and he's going to break this down like nobody breaks it down. I'm actually I tried to get the correspondent in today just real quick, but he didn't have a chance to get in. So I'm going to catch him on his regular scheduled programming date on Tuesday. And if you haven't heard him, he's fantastic. If you are a novice when it comes to golf, he can help you out. He can explain the things. And if you have to ask questions, don't feel afraid to ask questions with us. With that being said, that's going to wrap up our British Open talks. And next up, we're going to get into some NFL because NFL training camp is here. And I know there's some questions for several teams out there, even the home team. So we're going to get into the home team. And there's about 10 or 11 squads that I've picked out to kind of get some info on or just to kind of break bread on. And with that being said, we'll be right back after this quick break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Back after a quick break. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us. This is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. I'm the Midnight Rider. This is our morning show, the Sunday Rise on Sunday mornings. And what we're going to get into is we're counting down the training camp. There are some huge camp stories out there. Some of them are things that I question. Some of these are the bigger factors in probably have dominated sports talk radio in your area for a couple weeks now. They may have said it differently, but here we go. The Dallas Cowboys are America's team, and we always see them in conversations when we talk about storylines and things coming up. And one of the big storylines for me when it comes to Dallas coming into this season, coming into this preseason, is can they get Dak Prescott to be healthy for a full season? It seems like when he's healthy, he produces. I know there's a narrative out here that Dak is the Black Kirk Cousins, but I mean, he wins 11, 12 ball games. He may not do much in the playoffs, but he wins a lot of ball games. And if you met at a team winning ball games, I can't help you on that part. But I mean, he gets you there. He might not take you to the promised land, but he gets you at least in the tournament where you have a chance to get to the promised land. And I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. But the next question I have at Cowboys camp is pay the man. Oh, real quick before I get going, Scott said he was 64, 68, and 65 for Bryson, which is 16 under. Wow. That's amazing because he was that makes sense. So that's definitely something crazy because I think he was at +7 at one point. So that makes all the sense in the world that he ran those numbers. He had a 78 in the first round. Okay, so that makes sense. Thanks, Scott, for your input, man. I appreciate that. Back to the Cowboy thing. Pay Micah. And the problem or the reason I have this as a question is the Cowboys have seemed to fall into this love affair with paying top dollar for everybody they sign. So they could have gotten Dak Prescott a deal 2 or 3 years before his deal came up. They waited till last minute. They had to pay the top dollar. CeeDee Lamb, 2 years ago, same thing, top dollar. Micah Parsons is probably right now sending Rolexes to Myles Garrett and TJ Watt because they've reset the market to a place where he's going to get paid. He's going to have to get 41, 42 million a year. The question for the Cowboys is, can you pay it? Can you make room for you guys to pay it? And how soon are you going to pay him before it gets reset again? Because that's all it takes is for the market to reset, and you're paying higher prices. And for some reason, the Cowboys front office does not have a willingness, does not have the patience or understanding that if you pay ahead of time, you don't pay as much as you got to pay when the time comes. And with that being said, the next batch or the next team with big questions, and I'm going to add another question onto this, is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're another team that's a tough negotiating team. But the question is, will Stewart sign? Their first-round pick has not signed the contract yet. The language in the deal or in the contracts that they've offered him, basically, if he has a suspension or anything like that, it takes away his guarantees. No other contract has that. This is a situation where Cincinnati is Cincinnatian, and the kid, thankfully, has a good agent and won't let him sign this bad deal because this is a bad deal. This is not a good deal for him to set him up for future success because if he gets one bad drug test or a suspension for something, then it cancels out his guarantees, and there's no way he should be signing anything like that. The other question in Cincinnati is Trey. What are they going to do about Trey? Trey Hendrickson has come out and blasted the organization the whole offseason, the whole time, saying that he's had conversations. They made promises to him. They didn't keep those promises. They didn't keep their side of this argument or this side of the deal or what they promised. So what's next? What are they going to do? And I think most of the time we've had this problem. Person's asked for a trade. The trade hasn't worked out. Somewhere down the line, a contract gets done. They come to their senses. Only reason I don't believe it is because of Cincinnati. And I think Cincinnati may just mess this up for themselves in the long run. Another team that we have some questions about, and this comes from their young quarterback, is JJ Afad. It's JJ McCarthy, the young fella they drafted out of Michigan. He had a great preseason game against Oakland. Was that his ceiling? Is that his high point? He has the quarterback whisperer. I think one of the best quarterback coaches in the NFL is Kevin O'Connell. And he puts his quarterbacks in the right situation. I mean, he won 14 ball games last year with Sam Darnold. You know, I mean, J.J. McCarthy has a higher ceiling, of course. We just don't know where his floor is. Will he be able to come back? I mean, the knee injury set him back, but will he be able to come back? The good thing is he has weapons. They have Aaron Jones in the backfield. You have Jefferson and Addison on the outside. This team was going to be able to put up points, will be able to score because their offense moves. The question is, will the defense, again, answer the bell? But the bigger question is, will JJ be a stud or will he just be a dud? Is it just a fad? Next up, in the conversation of teams in their training camp questions, and this is a big question for me. The Miami Dolphins, what does Tua have left? I mean, we've all seen the hits on Tua. We've seen him hit his head and be stuck. And the question for him or for us with talking about Tua is, I mean, if he has one more, two more, like what's the next concussion? When's the next concussion the last concussion? Because that's really the question that you have to ask. The other question in Miami is how hot is the seat on the McDaniels backside? This team has struggled. They don't really have an identity besides speed. And once you get past their speed, there's nothing else to them. They show for the dough, but they don't have the power or the toughness to get through it when they can't show. When they can't out-fancy you, they don't have an answer for it. I'm going to take a quick stop here just to see what the next comment is, and then we're going to get back into the questions. Scott says, or Scooter says, Sam Howell just chilling, waiting for JJ to fill. That's right. Sam Howell is the backup there. And I think that's another person that benefits from Kevin O'Connell being his coach. Because I think the year he spent with Eric Bieniemy, the year he was sleeping with Bieniemy, I think it was more of a nightmare. I don't know if Bieniemy didn't set him up for success. I felt that way because he made him throw the ball so much. So that's a good spot for him to come back and get his feet under him and then move forward. But with getting back to Miami, this team has struggled. This team made the playoffs once, haven't been back since, and they've got some questions. And like I said, what does Tua have left? And the other question becomes, how long do they hold on to McDaniels? Does he make it through the whole season? Does his team bounce back? Because I think we had this ranked as one of our lowest divisions. And part of the reason that Jack and I had this division so low is because it's Buffalo and everybody else. That's the way it seems. That's the way it comes across. Because Miami's struggling. The Jets had Justin Fields at quarterback. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I can't help you with that. You know, so and then they have the New England Patriots with Drake May, and they've added some weaponry, but is it enough? So, and next week or sometime next week, we're going to talk about rookies. We're going to have a little segment. We're going to call it Rookie Penub. We're going to find some rookies that you want to give some love to. It's called Penub because it's a play on words. If you know the play on words, you were born of a certain time. If you don't get it, ask somebody older and they'll explain it to you. But sometime during the week, we're going to get into the rookies that we want to give some love to, that we think are going to shine in their current situations. But again, that's for later on in the week when we get closer to Thursday. Or we might do it on this Tuesday. Depends on how much time we have. And then, yeah, Scooter's right. Scooter's got all the backup quarterbacks down. Yeah, Zach Wilson's the backup in Miami. And then, like, how scary is that? If you're McDaniels and this is a year that you got to have, you can't let anything happen to it. You got to wrap him in bubble wrap. You got to get him that helmet that he doesn't want to wear. And you got to take every precaution you can to get him all the way through the season and everything like that. One more before we hit a quick break, and this is Indianapolis. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, the quarterbacks. What will happen there? I know Richardson hasn't thrown all season. He's had shoulder surgery to clean up some stuff. And then there's Daniel Jones. And I checked the schedule. Daniel Jones doesn't play the Commanders this year. So that's going to be a question in its own right. Because he doesn't have that layup on the schedule where he can look like a star for one game, the questions roll in. Is this enough? I mean, the good thing for them is they're in the AFC South, another division that the Sideline Junkies as a network has ranked very low. I think we had them 9th and 8th on our prospective list. This division is bad. And Indianapolis has a nice enough defense that they can get some things done, but the problem is the offense has let them down. And can Daniel Jones harken back to the guy that got the Giants in the playoffs and won a playoff game in Minnesota? I don't know how much better that guy was than the guy currently is, but he's had some success. Can Indianapolis hide the warts that are Daniel Jones' weaknesses? With that being said, we're going to hit some more comments. That's right. Quinn Ewers is also there. I would love to see Ewers overtake Wilson. And then Scooter with some positivity. He said Daniel Jones will get a shot and do well. I can see that. I mean, he's got his first back in a long time since Saquon. You know, you get a Taylor. You get Taylor the ball, and he can take it to the house, Jonathan Taylor. That's what I'm talking about. I can see that being the place to go, the place to help him out. Question is, will it help him? Can it help him? So, who knows? And then the last one for me for right now before we hit a break is the Raiders. Will they sing along to Pete Carroll's song? Pete Carroll comes in, you bring in Ashton Jeanty, you bring in Geno Smith. The defense has Crosby, you got Wilkins. They have the skeleton to be a good ball club. The problem is they're in the AFC West. The AFC West ranked, I think the lowest it ranked was 2 in our poll of the ranking divisions with Jack and I. I think I had them number 1. The question is, will this team be able to get enough together and be a threat in that division? They have the opportunity. They have the potential. Because if they can get anything out of this running game, and you know Pete Carroll loves to run, see Marshawn Lynch, see the way the Seattle Seahawks play now, Kenneth Walker and company, they believe in running the football in Pete Carroll land. And grabbing the best back in the draft may help him in the long run. It may get them over the edge, may get them into some victories that they lost last year, even within the division. I mean, we got to remember the NFL is a 3-point difference, really. And if you're losing ball games by more than 3 to 7 points, then your team isn't that good, or your team just had a bad day. But it is set up for close ball games. It's dictated to have close ball games. All right, folks, in a little bit, we're going to hop out on another break. We're going to come back. We're going to hit the local team, hit some more questions, and then we're going to get you out of here so you can enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, or Sunday morning, I should say. And with that being said, before that, Scott says, tough division in the West, but Raiders have a legit shot to sneak in. I totally agree, Scooter. Totally agree with that statement and that sentiment. And that's why I say, will the Raiders sing along to Pete's song? Because they're the team that they need to make a jump. I think the division is tough enough, but I think they're going to be a tough enough team that they can make it tough on everybody else with the level of physicality. And with that said, we're going to break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the Sunday Rise on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. I am the man they call the Midnight Rider. The other gentlemen are on assignment today. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but you can reach us or view us on many platforms. If you just click like and subscribe on the Sideline Junkies on YouTube, we're also available on Odyssey, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Hey, if you need to start your day and you want something because you don't want to listen to the regular radio, take that opportunity. Give us a shot, man. Give us a listen. We'll definitely keep you entertained. And even if you miss a show, you can always go back. Like people always say, hey, man, I missed the show. I'm sorry. And I'm like, you ain't missed nothing, because if you go to your YouTube, hit Sideline Junkies, that episode is right there. You can pull it up. If you're in your car, Odyssey, you type in Sideline Junkies on the search bar. We're right there. You will go right to us. So if you missed us, you can't miss us, because you can always get us back. Be on replay. We replay episodes on the Sideline Junkies 24/7 podcast Facebook page, which is another place you can get us. So with all of that being said, as in the words of Jack Carr, we everywhere, baby. And with that being said, let's get back to what we've been talking about. And this is the team that I really have questions about. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I have to hit them with the line that we always ask. What are we doing here? We traded for Jalen Ramsey. We traded away Pickens. We signed TJ Watt to a long-term deal, which is a good thing. We waited for Aaron Rodgers to give us the rose, for him to pick us. What are they doing? What do they want to be? I think, honestly, if Aaron Rodgers gives you the guy that played the second half of last season for the New York Jets, I think the Steelers will be fine. I think the Steelers can be a playoff team. The only problem is I don't know if he elevates them enough to become more. I think right now they're the third best team in their division. But that defense is a problem. It always will be a problem. They added some tight ends to help the offense out, but I just don't know what we're doing here. I don't know what our message is next. I feel like this is a one-year fix. We done took out the Gorilla Glue and we put that leg back on that table that the wife said we should have gotten rid of a long time ago. That's what it feels like. I know it's not that, but that's just what I call it. So that's how I see it. The next one, or the next team on the ledger, is the Cleveland Browns. You draft two quarterbacks. You sign Joe Flacco. You have four quarterbacks for one starting job. The place where I'll be curious, and I might be jumping in listening to some 92.3 Cleveland radio on the mornings, is I'm curious how they're rotating the snaps. You know, a lot of teams like to get their rookies snaps early in the preseason so they get adjusted, because Joe Flacco doesn't really need a lot of work. And this offense almost made Joe Flacco look like a Pro Bowler when he was in it. I think the happiest person to see Joe Flacco back is David Njoku, the tight end for the Cleveland Browns, because he seems to always flourish when Flacco's in the lineup. But it's going to be curious how they divvy out the options. And Scooter, just real quick, want to throw something in. The Steelers finally go under 500, is what he's saying. Tomlin finally gets fired. This is not a good team. It's not, but they play defense, and they play tight ball games. And if you give yourself a chance, you give yourself a chance every time. And like I said, this league is your one turnover, one missed field goal. You're one play away from what was a W becoming a loss. And Scott's prediction is Cleveland and Pittsburgh will be battling it out for the last position in the division. Quite possible. But I think the Steelers defense keeps them around a little bit more. I think it helps keep their head above water. But we'll see. That's why we play the ball games. That's why they played us out. Caleb Johnson, the running back they drafted, what does he give them? Can he be a difference maker? And I think that's going to be all the things that we ask going into this offseason. Browns, again, I just don't know what they are. I don't know who they are. And then let's get to Duval, or as their coach said, Duval. However he did that. It was terrible, but the guy can coach offense. And I think really what we're going to ask about the Jaguars is what is Trevor Lawrence legacy going to be? I mean, the thing is, they got some receivers that they have some receivers around him. They have the kid Brian Thompson. You have Travis Hunter. We don't know how much offense he's going to play. And then I think the sleeper of this group is De'Ami Brown. Are you going to get the guy that played under the Ron Rivera era, De'Ami Brown? Or are you going to get the kid that now he's on the side of another burner, or actually two burners? He may not even be the biggest burner on the team, which could give him some one-on-one opportunities, but he can stand out and shine. And if that's the case, then who knows what happens next? What's the possibilities for him? And I think this offense rolls on Trevor Lawrence's shoulder. Sunshine. You can throw the country around, can't pitch it 2 feet, but sunshine. And will we see the sunshine? They're all questions that we're going to ask because we've heard it all before about Trevor Lawrence being a legacy, being dynamic, being one of the best prospects. What is he going to show? Next up is the Arizona Cardinals. Can they stand tall in this division? And yes, this is all about their quarterback's height. Kyler Murray. What's he going to do? Can he get them into opportunities? Can he score points? Marvin Harrison, another year older. James Conner. What is Arizona going to be? We keep asking ourselves. We keep thinking maybe they'll be good, but so far they haven't. And then next up, and this is probably one of the bigger questions coming into the offseason, Detroit Lions. They're missing their top 2 coordinators. And we saw this happen in Philadelphia 2 seasons ago where that team started out on a roll. And the next thing you know, they went downhill. Everything fell apart. And I don't know how good the replacements are. And that's what we're going to have to ask ourselves. The replacement defensive coaches, how good are they? The replacement offensive coaches, how good are they? They got the talent. They have plenty of talent. They got talent out the yin-yang. But can they keep this talent together? Can they build the offense? Can they build the defense? Can they build on what they've already built, the success they've had, and continue moving forward? That is a big question. That is the big thing for them. And we got to figure out what's next. How do they fix it? Can they fix it? Is there anything to fix? All that is what we're thinking about, worrying about, going into everything. Let me see. I think we got a couple more comments, and then we're going to get to the big one, the big story in this training camp. Jack, yeah, Scooter, I'm with you. The Jags win 10 or they win 3. There's no in between on that. Scooter's another prediction. Scooter, we might get some of these predictions on paper. Kyler Murray will surprise and lead the Cardinals to the playoffs, possible MVP candidate. And then I've heard this from somebody else before. Green Bay will win the division. The Lions will have a good season and make the playoffs. I don't argue with any of that. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a big fan of Love. And I think he's a star quarterback in this league. And with that being said, let's get to the big dogs, the Washington Commanders. I didn't want this to dominate the show. I want to kind of touch on a lot of other teams because we talk a lot of Terry. But the question becomes, will they sign Terry? I think what fans and people forget is it's a 1 year. He's still under contract. So they still have opportunity to get him signed if they don't sign him this offseason. And it's not life or death if they don't. This is not exactly the position they want to be in because I think other receivers will sign and they'll be put themselves in a bad position. So I think this has to happen here in this moment. They have to get this figured out, have to get it sorted out because if they don't, then it's going to go awry because you've been telling your team and your players about this guy being the guy. He being the antithesis of what a commander is. So at some point, you got to pony up and take care of him. And maybe that extra $1 million or $2 million that you're not comfortable giving them is the commander tax. Because that's all you said to us all season. So I think they have to get it done. I think they will get it done. And I think this is something that happens probably in the next 3 days, right around the 22nd. And if it doesn't happen the 22nd, I think they'll have a conversation with him, tell him report, don't work out, and they'll sign him in the next 2 days after that. But I don't see this dragging on. And I'll gladly eat crow because I've eaten crow all year on some of my other predictions that I've gotten wrong. So I think Terry signs. I think we get what we want as fans. I think he gets what he wants in terms of money. And the controversy goes away. And this team can continue on worrying about what's next, and worrying about the season. Now this sounds like from a pure fantasy football perspective. Maddie says, I need Harrison to have a breakout year. And now Scooter is going big time on me. Terry will sign to a 3-year extension with record-breaking money. It will happen for a few weeks, but Terry will be at camp, just won't participate. He never needs to play preseason games. That's true. He really didn't play his rookie year. Dude is always ready to play. He would have an amazing season. Says 14 regular season TDs. Okay. A lot of optimism. A lot of faith, man. I think this is a guy that you can take to the bank that he's going to be ready. I think he's done the work. He will do the work. I think the only thing is, what are we showing him? What are they telling him? What's the result going to be? Will he feel well compensated at the end of this process? And I think he will. I think it may take us a little bit more time to get there, but I'm definitely confident. I definitely encouraged. I definitely feel like it's something that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time of when and where. And the sooner we get the pen to the paper, I think it cuts off the speculation. I think it stops us from getting all these random, he's going to get traded here. Oh, he could get traded to the Patriots. Like, those are that's fishing. That's clickbait. That's not true reporting. Oh, I can see him going here. Yeah, I can see that too. I can see myself driving a Rolls Royce. It ain't going to happen, but I can see it. So let's stop falling for the random propaganda. And until we actually hear Terry ask for a trade, I would say ignore all Terry being traded conversations. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy on it. And just let this play out. Let this unfold, because deadlines have a tendency to make deals happen. And I think that's what we forget. We've seen more deals signed the last 2 weeks or last week than before, because a lot of these people were out of town. They were doing other business. So now the time is to concentrate on Terry, get Terry done. And I think that's all we can ask for. I'm going to finish this out with a wrap that shit up, B. Anything that I didn't get to or think I should get to, I don't have anything today. I think we covered everything. I do want to mention that, I guess this is my wrap it up, that the Nats did sign their first pick, their first overall, the young man Willits. They signed him Saturday to a deal. So more than likely what that means, he came in to DC. He signed his deal. They sent him out to the field, let him take batting practice here at the big park, so he can just get his feet wet. They can tantalize him with the dream of playing here. Maybe he took some grounders as short, and then they put him on a plane, and they send him to wherever he's playing, wherever it's low A ball or to a wood bat league, and they're going to let him get started his MLB career. So he said he wants to be in the MLB by the age of 20. We'll see how that works out for him. I give the kid nothing but good vibrations and hope him all the best. And if you're a fan of the show, you know there's only one way. We close out Sunday morning, and that's with a little rendition of What Are You Eating? Today, I haven't really made up my mind. I know there's a chicken option, and I know there's a pork loin. More than likely, I'm going to throw the pork loin in the oven, serve that, maybe with some potatoes, and we'll probably put some peppers. If not peppers, just some onions in with it, and let it marinate and let it do its thing. With that all being said, this is where we come to the end. We've come to the end of the road. And it might be so hard to say goodbye to yesterday, but before I do, let me get Scooter in here, because I think Scooter's got something. Yep, just on my little last note, he said hopefully Willits gets to Wilmington this year. That's the hope, but we'll see. We'll see how that bat plays going forward. But yeah, we're at the end of the show. I want to thank everybody that commented, Scooter, Matty Ice, everybody else or anybody else that I missed. I apologize if I missed you. For all those in viewing land, thank you for viewing. All of you that are going to go back tomorrow, listen to this on Odyssey, listen to it on Spotify, I thank you for listening. This is the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. This is the Sunday Ride Show. I'm the Midnight Rider. And with all of that being said, thank you for watching. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I got to give you a preview of next week before I go. So the preview, Monday, 5 p.m., drive time, Matty Ice, sometimes Scooter, sometimes the Duval Paul, sometimes Showtime Sarah. Don't know what the lineup is for tomorrow, but that'll probably be announced on the Sideline Junkies podcast network. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., you got Coach Devon Powell with a heavy lineup tomorrow. He should have a great co-host with him, guy they call the Midnight Rider. We're trying to help him get his feet wet. Hopefully he can do a good job in assisting the coach tomorrow on his show. There are 3 coaches lined up, so we're going to be hitting you heavy. He's going to be hitting you heavy right out the gate. Tuesday night flight, 8 p.m. Gentleman Jack Carr, KG, maybe the boss man, the Midnight Rider again, trying to be on another show. Don't know why the kid sticks around, but he likes to be on shows. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. We got in the passenger seat, Jack Carr. Again, this guy, Midnight Rider. Thursday night flight, 8 p.m. Same group of guys. Midnight Rider, Gentleman Jack, Big Guy KG, maybe the boss man. And then on Saturday, we close it out with the coup de grace, the WrestleManiacs, the Nubian Sumo, Don Rodriguez, KG. Give me all the wrestling information. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take you out of here. Matt's having a pork tenderloin with grilled zucchini and yellow squash. If I like the vegetables, I might do something like that, but we're not doing that. But with that being said, I'm the Midnight Rider. Thank you for watching the show. Good night, folks.